you ready to kickstart your week with some dirt slinging and tire slaying action motorsports radio that packs the biggest guests?
Hi, Ken Block here.
Hey, my name's Jolene Van Butte.
What's up, Brian Deegan here.
Vaughn Ginn Jr. here.
They've been thrown into one show that has broken down the barriers of what a motorsports radio show should be. This is the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor, with support from General Tire, KMC Wheels, Dirtfish, Gibson Exhaust, and MTX Audio, with your host, who also happens to spend his weekends flying 800 horsepower trucks through the dirt, Jim Beaver.
When was the last time you saw an off-road or rally driver begging to get behind the wheel of a NASCAR IndyCar? Yep, not happening, but you sure see these pavement racers begging to drive our cars.
And his partner in crime every week, a self-proclaimed Canadian moto chick who was jumping triples and taking podiums before most guys even learned to ride, Amy Hood.
No one knows how to say my last name. Like, is it really that hard? Amy Hood, like I'm from the hood. Don't get it twisted.
Sit back, strap in, and be prepared to join us as we take you through a motorsports ride like no other. Here is the man who carries a steering wheel in one hand and a mic in the other, Jim Beaver.
Good morning. We are pinned here today on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. Jim Beaver, Amy Hood coming at you. And we are swinging today. I mean, I don't know, Hood. We put together some pretty good lineups once in a while, but today we're mixing in some of the best in motorsports, in Hollywood, in action sports. I don't know. We got Tanner Foust, GRC winner. He teamed with me at the Mint 400 in the Polaris Razor Star Car races. Short course, drifting, rallycross, stuntman, TV personality. He's on air. We've got Spike Feresten, the writer of Seinfeld, a writer for The Simpsons, one of Hollywood's greatest writers. He's written for Letterman. He's friends with everybody in Hollywood. This guy is also a massive car collector, and he's going to be on. We've got a clip from that we're going to air today. That part of it also is in Project Action, the full-length one we're going to air later this week. We've got Graham Rahal. I mean, Rahal last name. You know, you think motorsports, you think there's a handful of names. Rahal is one of them. Graham Rahal, one of the hottest drivers in IndyCar right now. He's on a 5-race bender where they're just killing it. So he's going to be on air. And then we got Jenny Lim, good friend of mine. She works for Monster Energy. She's calling in. She's going to give away some Warped Tour tickets, and we're going to do that today on social media after the show. She's going to explain everything. I don't know, this is going to be a good one.
Can I win the Warped Tour tickets? Because I want to go.
I'm sure you can. We'll talk about that after the break here on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor.
Hey, I'm RJ Anderson, factory Polaris driver, and I drive Polaris because it's the most capable, race-ready off-road vehicle on the market.
When RJ Anderson wanted to set a world record for the longest UTV jump in history, not once but twice, what company did he trust? Polaris and their championship-winning Razor XP1000. RJ is a UTV champion behind the wheel of Polaris vehicles, and he exclusively trusts the Polaris Razors to bring him race wins and championships against some of the toughest off-road racers in the world. The same Polaris Razors RJ has won championships in, set world records in, and conquered the Wall of Death in XP1K2 are available to you at your local Polaris dealer. Take the advice of world record holder RJ Anderson and visit Polaris on the web at Polaris.com to see the full lineup of Polaris Razor vehicles, or follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Polaris Razor.
The Subaru WRX and WRX STI. A 268-horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine rockets the WRX around corners and down straightaways. A race-ready 305-horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine keeps the WRX STI a rally legend. The Subaru WRX and WRX STI. It's not a sibling rivalry. It's a tag team. Get the latest from Subaru Rally Team USA at Subaru.com/rally.
As certain as the sun rises and sets around the world, OTSFF Group is dedicated to providing flexible, comprehensive, and reliable transportation solutions. Air transportation, ocean freight, ground transportation, or a combination of services. We offer innovative and custom-built packages specifically designed to meet your transportation needs. OTSFF Group has been keeping shipments moving globally for nearly 2 decades. OTSFF Group, flexible logistics services designed for you. More information at OTSFF.com. For 100 years, General Tire has provided tires for your lifestyle, your adventure, your anywhere. Born from competition, the Grabber tire offers the durability and off-road traction you demand in a tire. We put these tires to the test in the harshest off-road racing conditions to give you a tire that will make your anywhere possible. So let us take you on your next big adventure. Tweet us photos at General Tire, hashtag anywhere is possible. Because with General Tire, anywhere is possible. Looking to have some fun on 4 wheels? Dirtfish Rally School has you covered. Packing as much adrenaline and adventure as you can handle into high-performance all-wheel drive and rear-wheel drive Subaru rally cars is where the fun begins at Dirtfish. Just 30 minutes outside of Seattle in Snoqualmie, you'll get a chance to train up to 3 full days with some of the country's best instructors and be put through the high-octane rush of rally on mud, dirt, and tarmac. Get started today and call 425-888-7715 or visit us online at dirtfish.com and use code 911 for a 15% discount. Welcome back to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. Jim Beaver, Amy Hood here, kicking off what is going to be an epic 2 hours worth of radio. And, man, I don't know. We've had some big news happening over the past weekend. Amy and I, we got some stuff to talk about in a couple of segments. We're going to talk top races in the world. It's kind of they got a big vote going on, actually, I think on like 10 Best or something like that, the website. And so it's kind of gone viral in the racing community. We're going to be talking about that. I don't know. We got a lot to talk about, giving away Warped Tour tickets. But I wanted to talk in the news. We got a bunch to talk about today. But Robbie Gordon. My good friend Robbie Gordon, and I mean, he's a good, close personal friend, and he was down in Australia, and they got the stadium super trucks going on down there, and Mr. Gordon, I guess they had basically there was a venue, like a restaurant or something like that, probably a restaurant bar or something. They invited the stadium super trucks down there to have on display, and I don't know, we do it in desert racing all the time. You know, have a party and put stuff on display and promote the event and things like that. I mean, I put them on and stuff like that. Well, anyways, he was there, got done, and knowing Robbie, he's smart enough. He probably didn't have a drop to drink that night. But he was going to load it on the trailer. There was a couple security guards there, and he asked the security guards, he says, hey, my trailer's right there, like literally like 20 feet away. He says, can I spin a couple of donuts, in the street before I load it on for the crowd? And the security guards that were there that work for the bar or restaurant or whatever, they go, yeah, no problem. They're like, go for it. So he proceeds, Robbie, one of the best drivers in the world, spins a couple of donuts, puts it on the trailer, and life is good. Well, somebody with a cell phone or a smartphone decided to take a video, and now all of a sudden his truck later on after the race, because nobody caught him because there was no police around or anything like that, they go to the track after the race, they impound the truck. Anyways, Robbie ends up in court. He has to pay a $4,000 fine for these donuts, or this burnout, that lasted all of 10 seconds. So it's a $4,000 fine. He's banned from driving on the streets in Australia for 1 year, and he has basically, they said, an indefinite ban. They revoked his motorsports racing license in Australia for life. And so all because he did a couple of donuts in the street. And I'm like, holy crap, if I, seriously, I've done stuff like that here in the U.S. I mean, you do a burnout before you load it on the trailer, whatever. I mean, I started thinking about it. You did one on Fremont in my Razor Hood last year. I mean, like, it wasn't that big of a deal.
I've done a lot of burnouts in a lot of places.
Yeah.
I've done burnouts in California. I mean, look at Blake Wilkie, who literally took his desert truck and went all over the streets of San Diego. But, I mean, he did get in a lot of trouble.
Yeah, his was a little bit different, too. He had a film crew. And
yeah. I mean, Blake, come on. No, but, we got, tons of motocrossers and freestylers go pop some wheelies and, wheelie down their street. I wheelie down my street. I literally just drove a forklift down my street, and I ain't got no license to do that, or a skid steer or whatever I was cruising down the street with. But, I think it's a little excessive. I really do. And, if he is there, if the bar promoters or bar owners brought him in to, have his vehicle on display, asking a local security guard when a lot of times they're like 12-year-old kids or, people who come off the street literally who, do the security. If he were to kind of check with the bar owner, then I feel like it would have been a way different case because I think then the responsibility would have fallen on the bar owner. Yes, I understand as a professional driver, you are setting an example. And, I think getting slapped with a fine would be a lot more reasonable than revoking a driver's license and a racing license in Australia. And I just think that the judge took it to a whole new level, and maybe that he's jealous that he doesn't have a really cool ride or something and drives like a Prius. I pretty much think those people are the ones who drive the Priuses.
Yeah, well, exactly. That's what you said. I think it's taking it to it's like he had a vendetta against this event. And we're not talking Sydney or Melbourne here. We're talking Northern Territory in Australia where there is nothing. There's literally like 2 major towns. That's it. Nothing goes to the Northern Territory. It'd be basically like the tundra in Alaska. But it's desert, nobody goes there. There's nothing. Yeah. And so, he brings,
he jumped the local streets and jumped children crossing, he literally did a donut. Come on.
Lasted 10, 15 seconds. I get it. Okay. He did it. It was illegal, right? So you go in, and you don't impound the truck and everything. Basically, a cop shows up, write him a ticket for a few $100, slap him on the wrist, say, don't do it again. Like, seriously, don't do it again. There'll be ramifications if you do it again, and let him go, right? He'd probably give you some free tickets to the races and invite you out. But he's bringing, even I was reading, in the Australian news, I went on to one of their websites and started reading the comments, and all the people were in support of him that live in the Northern Territory. They're like, look, we get no events up here. Nobody cares about us. Robbie brought this event to the Northern Territories. Yeah. It's like the first major event they've ever had. Not ever had, but you know what I mean? They're like, we want people to come up here. Like, he's coming up here. Like, they're like, we finally get somebody that wants to do something for us, and here we are going to slap him around and, and fine him and take his trucks.
Now you're scared. Way exactly. There's so many other places that either slap people on the wrist or kind of turn a blind eye. I understand the safety concerns. I understand, maybe not the best move to just have asked the security guard and to probably have asked the owner of the bar or the area first. But again, I think it's taking that to a whole new level of punishment, and it really does give that area a bad reputation. He is a professional athlete. He wasn't drinking and driving.
No.
Maybe he should have breathalyzed him first. I don't know. I just think that all circumstances and, if you look at other athletes and other people who have kind of done very similar things,
We've all done it. That's the thing. We've all done it.
Exactly.
I do it.
I go in the Walmart parking lot here and I bust donuts out in my Beaver Ranger all the time.
I've got my Subaru, and my race shop is a half a block from the local police department, right? And I have a 90-degree turn to go into my race shop. I do a handbrake slide in the Subaru every single day when I pull into the race shop, just because it's there and I can do it, and I do it. And it's half a block from the police department. They see it, they hear it, they laugh and wave and whatever. It's come on. I don't know.
Yeah, I know. I just I think it's a little excessive.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I completely agree with you. I just think it was somebody with a vendetta, and they just full-on attack mode or something on Robbie Gordon. So, that was the news. Yeah, that was, I guess, the big bite of news coming out of the weekend. But I don't know. We're with you, Robbie. We got your back, buddy. But, we'd like to hear from you guys. Hit us up, tweet us, Instagram us, whatever, at JimBeaver15, at AmyHood71. Let us know what your thoughts on this are. I'd like to get some fan input here. But before we go to break, I do have to say we got Jenny Lim coming up next segment. We're going to talk some Warp Tour. She works for Monster Energy, and we're going to give away some tickets on social media after the show. But Mint 400.
No, you're not, because I'm going to be getting them.
We'll put Jenny on the spot. Say, hey, Amy really needs some tickets here, Jenny. So can you help us out? But NBC Sports, the Mint 400, this Sunday, June 25th, 6 Eastern, 3 Pacific, NBC Sports, the Great American Race, the Mint 400. It's coming at you this weekend. You guys have been waiting. I've been hearing from you guys. When is the Mint 400 going to air on TV? It's this Sunday at 3 Pacific on NBC Sports. Definitely tune in. I'm sure you'll see a little bit of me and Tanner Foust and some Polaris Star Car. So that is this Sunday, June 25th, 3 Pacific time on NBC Sports. Definitely looking forward to that. And thanks to all of you guys that have been rating, reviewing, and subscribing to Project Action. Killing it over there. Thank you guys for the support. We got Spike Feresten coming up in hour number 2, and that full-length interview, that will be dropped this week on Project Action. So we're going to take a short break. We come back. Jenny Lim, she's on the line with Amy and I here on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. I'm Polaris rider Jim Beaver. I race trophy trucks professionally, host a Down and Dirty radio show, and also travel the country announcing motorsports events. I've seen it all, and trust me, I've done most of it. So when it comes time to relax on the weekend, nothing is better than taking time with my family in our RZR vehicles. They've got the reliability I need to just pick up and go explore the desert, dunes, or trail, and have the capability to attack even the harshest terrain. If you're looking for some of the most reliable and safest, and hands down most capable off-road machines in the world, look no further than Polaris and their award-winning lineup of RZR vehicles. Whether you want your daughter to experience off-road driving for the first time in a RZR 170 like me, take the entire family out in a RZR XP4 1000 on the weekend, or shred the desert and dunes in the all-new RZR XP 1000 Fox Edition, Polaris has you handled. Take my advice and join me and some of the best drivers in the world by driving a Polaris RZR. Check out the full Polaris RZR lineup at Polaris.com, or follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Polaris RZR. Are you looking for a place to push yourself behind the wheel and see how your driving skills stack up? Dirtfish Rally School is that place. Located on 315 acres of pristine automotive playground at the foot of the Cascade Mountains in Snoqualmie, Washington, right outside of Seattle, Dirtfish Rally School is a one-of-a-kind place where everyone from first-time drivers to seasoned professionals like Bucky Lassick and Antoine Lestage can push themselves to their limit. Whether driving the high-performance, rally-prepped all-wheel drive Subaru Impreza STI is what you're looking for, or you'd rather hang it all out in the rear-wheel drive Subaru BRZs, Dirtfish Rally School has something for everyone. Classes are available from 2 hours to 3 full days and feature instructors with over 150 years of combined racing experience. Whether you're looking to become the best and get an edge on the competition, or just looking to freshen your skills behind the wheel, Dirtfish Rally School is the place to go. For more information on registering for classes, visit Dirtfish on the web at dirtfish.com, or to check out the latest happenings from Dirtfish, follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Dirtfish Rally. Your life demands a tire that provides durability, comfort, and performance, and that's what General Tire delivers for you. From the all-season grip of the Grabber UHP to the comfort and on-road manners of the Grabber HTS to the durability and off-road traction of the Grabber AT2, General has a tire that will help get you where you need to go. So let us take you on your next big adventure. Tweet us at General Tire, hashtag anywhere is possible, because with General Tire, anywhere is possible.
The Subaru WRX and WRX STI, a 268 horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine, rockets the WRX around corners and down straightaways. A race-ready 305 horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine keeps the WRX STI a rally legend. The Subaru WRX and WRX STI, it's not a sibling rivalry, it's a tag team. Get the latest from Subaru Rally Team USA at Subaru.com/rally.
Welcome back to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. Jim Beaver, Amy Hood here. We're waiting on Jenny Lim to call in, and it looks like, boom, right on cue. There is Jenny Lim. But welcome to the show, Jenny. You're joined by Jim Beaver, Amy Hood. How's everything going?
Hey, it's going good. How are you guys?
Doing good.
I am awesome.
Yeah. we do have a bit of a problem, Jenny. We've got Amy here, and she's been doing radio with me for like 3 years. I think she's ready to send me down the river and go to work for you touring with on the Vans Warp Tour.
Yeah, I think hey, this year we have room.
Yeah. So how did this?
That looks like a lot of fun.
Yeah. So tell me a little bit. I know about you. I mean, we've been following each other on social media for quite some time. I think this is the first time we've actually formally talked on the phone. But I know you've been into sports broadcasting and stuff like that in the past. Now you're working with Monster, and you've been, I think, Winter X. Now you're touring with Vans Warp Tour. How's everything going?
It's going good. So I got an internship with Monster back in 2012. And from then, they saw that I started doing sports broadcasting, so they put me on with Summer X to kind of just interview athletes as they came off their run. And then from there, it just escalated. And then I kind of got sick of action sports for a while, so I switched to regular sports, to the traditional sports, and I started covering the NBA for ESPN last year. So that was a blast. And then I ended up coming back to Monster and just doing marketing and promotions. And then they're like, hey, we want you on our events team for Warp Tour. So now here I am currently on a tour bus driving to New Mexico.
Well, and Vans Warp Tour, like being on a tour, but I mean, this has got to be an experience because I'm looking at the calendar and for the next like 2-3 months, you are slammed. I mean, it seems like you're a stop every single day. But I mean, you're also touring with all these punk bands and stuff like that. Like, you know, I've been to a lot of punk shows and I know what happens. Like,
yeah.
This has got to be wild. I mean, this has got to be one heck of a ride for you.
It is crazy. So we have 40 stops. It was 41, but they cut off the Louisiana stop. So we're doing 40 cities in a 2-month span. And so there's one part where we literally have 20 days in a row of just straight working. And our working days are long. We start in the morning, early morning. We have an 8 a.m. wake-up call, and we actually set up the rig. So we set up the hospitality area, get our hands dirty, get all of that ready, and then we sample 3,500 cans of Monster throughout the day. And then at the end, we have to tear down and get ready and drive to the next city.
Holy crap.
Dang, that's pretty wild.
Yeah, that is nuts. So tell me, I know you guys have some pretty crazy rules on this trip. I mean, so things are just getting started, but you got to tell me because you were like, hey, we can talk about some of these rules because some of it's pretty out of the box. But I know there's a lot of you crammed in traveling together. You told me there's some pretty interesting rules and stipulations put on you guys.
Oh, there is. Like, the number one is there's no pooping allowed. So if you need to go number 2, you have to tell the bus driver, and he'll make a stop at a Walmart somewhere. If not, you have to hold it
I
in.
think that is a fantastic rule. Are you kidding me? That sounds amazing. I have traveled around in a motorhome with tons of people in there, and I think that, you know, anytime you hit a bump or, you know, come into a little bit of some rough terrain, that porta potty in the campers have a tendency to smell absolutely horrific. So I love that rule. That is great.
Yes, it's crazy. Like, even to just go to the bathroom, you can't put toilet paper down the toilet. So you have to wad it up and throw it in the trash can next to the toilet. So the bathroom does smell from time to time.
Oh, man.
Until the bus driver, you know, throws out the garbage can and it's fresh.
Oh, so what do you guys do on the buses to pass the time? What are you guys doing on the buses to pass the time?
So we have a couple TVs. So when you walk in, there's a lounge room in the front. And so we usually hang out there. And then there's a row of bunks. There's 12 beds that you can sleep on. And then in the back, there's another lounge. And we actually, one of the guys on tours brought a Wii. So we play Wii in the back lounge.
Oh, that's awesome.
Nice.
So it's pretty fun. But, yeah, it's crazy, like waking up in a new city, going to bed in one city, waking up in another. It's quite entertaining, actually. Like, I'm looking out the window right now, and I'm used to Salt Lake City where there's mountains everywhere. And right now it's just completely flat ground.
Yeah. Well,
Are you driving through Winnipeg? Because that's what it looks like here.
Yeah, Warp Tour doesn't go to Canada, does it?
Say that one more time.
She said
last year it did. This year we're not doing Canada.
Oh, bummer. So Yeah, so, I know you had said you hit me up. We're going to give away some tickets on social media later on. I think as soon as we get off air, Amy and I got an idea together. We're going to give some tickets away on social media only because the show airs live today multiple times on different networks. So we're like, we'll just give them away on social. That way everybody's got a chance at the tickets. But these tickets, right, they're good for any of the Warped Tour stops this year, right?
Correct. So we have 40 cities that they can choose from, and then what they'll do is I'll just either put them at will call or I'll walk out to myself and give them to them personally.
Okay, nice.
As well as I have a couple other goodies to give them. But that will be a surprise.
Sweet. Well, like Amy said, she's like, are we exempt from this? Because she's like, I want to win tickets. I'm like, I don't know.
I really do, and I'm heading down to Florida pretty soon. Are you guys stopping in Florida at all?
In Florida, we actually have 3 stops in Florida. So you'll have to make it out.
Okay, so we'll have to connect after the show, but because I'm definitely coming. But I do have to say, you're talking about interviewing action sports versus traditional sports, and you said you got a little sick and tired of action sports, and I completely understand. I know very many of the action sports athletes, and they're a little bit wild and a little bit crazier. But I do want to know, from personal experience, from a host side, what were some of the biggest differences, communicating and interviewing, the more traditional side, basketball and soccer, hockey, compared to an extreme sport, people that you do find on the X Games?
It's crazy because traditional sports, they're a lot more calm. Like you said, action sports, they can be a little wild. And don't get me wrong, traditional sports, they can get wild. But the biggest thing to me is that they just don't care. Going into the locker rooms post-game, they will just honestly be there with everything out, while you're interviewing them. They're like, yeah, I'm in the locker room, I just showered, and here you are just interviewing me, with being naked. Doesn't have a towel wrapped around. That was the craziest thing to me. Yeah. That was the biggest difference to me is action sports, they come off, they're sweaty, they're fully clothed. NBA guys, they hurry and go in the shower, come out, and they're like, all right, I'm ready for an interview. And you're like, I was taken aback, and I was like, how am I supposed to do an interview right now?
Don't look down. Don't look down.
I like it a little bit more.
Yeah, but no, those guys are good. They're used to the interviews. They're used to having, media on them 24/7, whereas action sports, they're known, but they're more known at the event. If you're walking in a grocery store, you may see Twitch, Jeremy Steinberg, and to the regular people, they may not know who he is unless you follow motorsport.
Yeah.
But if you have Stephen Curry walk into the grocery store, almost everyone knows who he is, and they're going to be like, oh my gosh, Stephen Curry. So they're used to the limelight.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, see, I'm the opposite. I couldn't even put a face to the name for the Curry fellow, but you better if I see Twitch, I'm running over there to give him a little a talking to. But no, it's funny, like you say, in action sports, a lot of these kids are coming right out of high school, or they have no media training at all, and they're just usually a young local kind of stepping into the limelight and making their mark. So I definitely agree where it would be a lot more challenging interviewing, somebody from the action sports background compared to more traditional sports where they're prepped and really have a lot of media training that actually goes into their interviewing process.
Yes, that's correct. You get some kids and you get them on the microphone and they're like, I'd like to thank Mom and God and that's it. And the interview is done. And I'm like, okay, where am I supposed to go from here?
Yeah, we've had some of those on air here. And these kids are killing it, and you'd think, man, they're winning races or they're winning X Games gold medals, and you're like, all right, we got to get them on air, and we get them on, and it's like crickets. And it's like, oh, wow, we didn't plan this very well, did we? And you would expect because they're so –
kids, a lot of adults as well. Yeah, I mean, again, a lot of, people my age, in the late 20s, early 30s, the action sports have no media training. And you go into something like NBA, and we have the same media coach. Monster Jam athletes actually have the exact same media coach as the NBA stars, which is incredible to think. But, you got to train to learn how to do some interviews sometimes.
Yeah, for sure.
It's very true. I definitely agree with that because, like you said, crickets, and then you're like, okay, here's some awkward silence, and now we got to hurry and cover it with another question. Or
yeah. So before we let you go, I got to ask you, Jenny, who you got all these bands. I'm looking down the list right now on the Vans Warped Tour website, and it's just crazy. Like, what are some of your favorite bands on tour? Do you guys get to listen to any of this? I mean, obviously background, you hear, but any bands that you've got dialed in as your favorites that are on tour?
So we actually have 97 bands on tour this year and 7 stages.
Wow.
And this year it's more catered to like the metal, death metal music. But some of the more famous ones is Bowling for Soup, Futuristic, Sammy Adams, Hawthorne Heights, American Authors, and then actually CKY, which Jesse, the drummer, is Bam Margera's brother. So that's really cool.
Nice.
And when we get our breaks, we are able to go backstage. So I have snuck backstage a couple times and just watched and did a little Snapchat video. You got to get it on the Snap, of course.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, I appreciate the time, Jenny. We got to go to a commercial break, but have some fun on the tour. I know Amy should be linking up with you, and we'll give those tickets away later on today. Thanks for everything, and we'll have to do it more often.
Awesome.
Yeah, have fun.
Thank you, guys.
All right. Thanks a lot, Jenny.
Bye.
All right, that was Jenny Lim with Monster Energy. She's on tour with Vans Warped Tour, giving those tickets away as soon as we get off air on social media. Taking a short commercial break. Coming up after the break, we got Tanner Foust, your GRC winner on the weekend. He's on the line.
Hey, I'm RJ Anderson, factory Polaris driver, and I drive Polaris because it's the most capable, race-ready off-road vehicle on the market.
When R.J. Anderson wanted to set a world record for the longest UTV jump in history, not once but twice, what company did he trust? Polaris and their championship-winning Razor XP1000. R.J. is a UTV champion behind the wheel of Polaris vehicles, and he exclusively trusts the Polaris Razors to bring him race wins and championships against some of the toughest off-road racers in the world. The same Polaris Razors RJ has won championships in, set world records in, and conquered the Wall of Death in XP1K2 are available to you at your local Polaris dealer. Take the advice of world record holder RJ Anderson and visit Polaris on the web at Polaris.com to see the full lineup of Polaris Razor vehicles, or follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Polaris Razor. Your life demands a tire that provides durability, comfort, and performance, and that's what General Tire delivers for you. From the all-season grip of the Grabber UHP to the comfort and on-road manners of the Grabber HTS to the durability and off-road traction of the Grabber AT2, General has a tire that will help get you where you need to go. So let us take you on your next big adventure. Tweet us at General Tire, hashtag anywhere is possible, because with General Tire, anywhere is possible.
Sound, the sound of sports, the sound at the racetrack, and the sound of your vehicle. Don't drive around listening to this. Drive around listening to the sound of performance. Gibson Performance. Gibson Performance Exhaust is the company who can turn this into this. Remember that life is all about sound, and Gibson Exhaust is the sound of performance. Check out your next catback exhaust system, headers, muffler, or UTV exhaust at GibsonPerformance.com and get more power and more sound.
Since 1970, KC Highlights has been designing and manufacturing performance lighting for off-road and motorsports, beginning with the legendary Daylighter up until today's revolutionary Flex, Pod, and Pro 6 lighting systems. KC Highlights offers a full line of halogen, HID, and LED lighting solutions for your off-road vehicle. Looking for the best quality lighting? Looking for the brand champions choose? You're looking for KC Highlights. Find out more information at kchighlights.com or follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at KC Highlights.
The Subaru WRX and WRX STI. A 268 horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine rockets the WRX around corners and down straightaways. A race-ready 305 horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine keeps the WRX STI a rally legend. The Subaru WRX and WRX STI. It's not a sibling rivalry. It's a tag team. Get the latest from Subaru Rally Team USA at Subaru.com/rally.
Welcome back to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. Jim Beaver, Amy Hood here, joined on the line by my good friend Tanner Foust. How's everything going, Tanner?
Going great. Great to be talking to you this morning, Jim. Hi, Amy.
Hey, how's it going, man?
Good.
Well,
I'd get home. It's a hectic weekend up in Canada, but a great celebration on a number of levels. But it's a really good weekend.
yeah, no kidding. So how, before we get into, talking about your event, how was the event in general? I know this was the first time that Global Rallycross has actually gone, north of the border up there to Canada. What was the reception up there, Tanner?
Canadian fans are awesome. They love motorsport. I've raced up there with other rallycross series in the past, and they just sort of get rally, even stage rally through the forest.
Mm-hmm.
They really love it up there. The series is really big. So there were a couple things that combined. One, their love for rally style racing and for rallycross, but two, it was part of a celebration for Ottawa, the capital of Canada. It was 150th year anniversary, so there was a big promotion for Ottawa 2017, and the event was held at Canada Aviation and Space Museum, which is like the big venue that they have there in Ottawa, and so it brought a lot of people out for that. Canadian flags everywhere, a lot of national pride, and our American show showed up, and we put on a good show for everybody there, I think. But it turned out to be a great event.
Yeah, well, and knowing you personally,
Yeah, that's awesome.
what's it? Hold on. Yeah, knowing you personally, Tanner, I know, being at the Aviation Museum, did you sneak in there? Because I know, that's kind of your gig there, right? Did you happen to sneak into the museum at all?
Yeah, I love airplanes and flying and stuff like that. So I did get some time to cruise through. I got a tour of the museum. They have a lot of cool planes. Everything from helicopters and the whole area on seaplanes to warbirds and more modern planes, and the Canadarm is what they call it. That arm on the space shuttle that always had the big Canadian flag on it. That was developed in Canada. They have one of those from Discovery, I think. But
Nice.
It was a great museum and a cool venue. And then we used part of the runways, and how rallycross is, got pretty creative on the track. So part of the runways, and then part of the off-road or grass stuff to build a big jump, and made a fun track out of it.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, you had a question, Amy?
Oh, no, I was just saying that, Ontario, being Canadian myself, Ottawa and Ontario really is kind of the mecca for motorsports here in Canada. It's extremely rural. It's very big. To drive across Ontario probably takes a solid 25 hours. So just gives people an idea of how big Ontario really is. But it was a great choice to be able to actually hold that event there in Ontario, because the motorsports community is so huge there. And it's too bad it was so far away, because I would have loved to come over and been able to watch it. I got to see a little bit of rally with Jim Beaver last year, but it was pretty exciting. Hopefully they'll be able to do it over at the other end of Canada next year.
Yeah, it's a big place for sure.
Yeah.
There's not too far from Ottawa is where there's some other rallycross that goes on in conjunction with an event at Three Rivers there.
Yeah.
And you can say that with more of a French accent than I can. But
You're like me. I'm like, I knew we were going to try.
So, I'm just going to call it Three Rivers.
Yeah.
But the crowds are really huge there. And even in the U.S., whenever you do any kind of rally style or rallycross stuff that's in the more northern states, closer to the Canadian border, you always get a bigger turnout. Our race in Seattle has the biggest turnout of the year. And it's just, people are just more into rally racing up there. I maybe call it rural, but up there in the woods, they're just into motorsports up there.
Yeah. Well, speaking of this season and rallycross, I gotta say, man. I mean, you're one of my friends. I got these guys that I always root for in rallycross. I mean, everybody in the paddock's my friends, but obviously you're carrying the Razor banner, and so I'm always pulling for Tanner. But it's like one of my other really good friends in the series this year. Steve Arpin. I tell you what, he's giving you and Scott a run for your money this year. It's got to be kind of exciting for you guys to be having this battle unfold, right?
He sure is. No, I mean, Arpin goes fast. He's very aggressive on the track, and he's got a style where he's either going to win it or wreck it, kind of a thing. And that can, when it folds your way, it's great. You collect a ton of points. But he has been going very fast. He's got his car really dialed. He took some risks on this last event that paid off one day and didn't pay off the next day. But he's been a great competitor. He also has been a great proponent of the Make-A-Wish Foundation, which I was lucky enough to be involved with a little bit more in the past couple of years. But he's been bringing kids from Make-A-Wish out to every event, and I've really enjoyed that part of his program. So really, he's a great addition. Of course, he has been for years to GRC, and it's now that we're battling out for championship, it's even more fun.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, he's. It's been fun. It seems like the past couple of years, you and Scott have always been. You guys have been the dominant team in rallycross, but this year in particular, it's been kind of me as a fan tuning in on weekends. It's been really exciting to watch. I know Mitchell's kind of thrown his hat in the ring a bit, and him and Scott have had some pretty epic battles. But it's been kind of fun to watch this year because you know what I mean. It's you guys are still there, you're still up front, but it's like everybody else has kind of raised their game a bit, and I feel like they're kind of starting to go, like, hey, we're here too. So it's been fun as a fan to watch, kind of this four-way kind of battle unfold there, for those podium spots. So I don't know, I'm excited this year.
Yeah, no, it's been very close, and I'm glad to hear that. It's always nice to hear that you're excited, Tim, and that you're into it. There's but in reality, I get it. I completely understand what you're saying, and the manufacturers involved there. Some weekends it will seem like with VW we're able to click it off a little bit better and take it away, but in reality, when you're on the track and you're following another car, you really learn a lot about that car's strengths and weaknesses. And the Volkswagens are great cars and very consistent, but as far as just out on the track and speed, I mean, the Fords, the Hondas, the Subarus all can lay the times down. So every manufacturer involved is really able to get it done. They're all very, very fast cars, and the game has been elevated. Our benefit, I think, is a combination of reliability in the car and the design of the car, but also just the team is. We have this IndyCar mentality. It's like you bring this car back completely destroyed. It looks like somebody stood in front of it with a machine gun and just destroyed the car. And then 30 minutes later, you head back out, and it's a brand new race car again. And these guys are amazing that work on these cars with Andretti. So that's been our biggest strength. And I think with these double headers, it shines because we're able to put the pieces back together. Maybe sometimes a little quicker, more effectively than others, and have our A game every time we hit the track.
Yeah. Well, I know Amy's got a question for you. She's obviously she races in Monster Jam. I think she saw that you were out at an event with Odyssey Batteries and Bigfoot. I know you got a question for him that you've been waiting to ask Amy.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, no, I just really wanted to know if you were able to actually get behind the wheel of that Bigfoot and test out that monster truck. We all know you're the king of GRC, but were you able to put that monster truck in gear at all?
No, that stuff scares me, Amy. No way. I can touch that.
What?
That scares you?
I would love to have driven that. There was, a long time ago, I took Dennis Anderson for a ride in a drift car, and he was stoked. He's like, "Oh man, you got to come out to my ranch. I just need 3 months. We're gonna do the season." And he just like laid into all this stuff. It was gonna be great. So I had looked at Monster Jam then and didn't get a chance to do the season then. And then when I did the Hot Wheels jumps, we also talked about doing a monster truck then. But this was actually the first time I actually sat in one. And, they're big. It's cool. And this one was powered by Odyssey batteries, which seems like it'd be kind of cool. I was talking to the driver. He said it was really interesting because you could hear all the cars crushing. You could hear so much more with the electric power.
Yeah. That's I didn't know
The sound of just like breaking bones.
I didn't know they had. I didn't know Bigfoot had one or Odyssey had a electric powered monster truck. That's pretty amazing. I mean, I see what these guys are bringing to Pikes Peak. I've talked to Reese a lot about electric power. I see what they're doing in Formula E. I mean, do you feel like I know even there's talks of electric rallycross now. I mean, do you feel like that maybe we're 5-10 years out from that being the future of motorsports, Tanner?
Well, I think there's certain motorsports that. Well, first of all, electric. Power in our daily drivers is, of course, here or is very soon coming around the corner. And so I understand the need to not just educate, I guess, public on virtues of electric power, but also make it fun. It doesn't always have to be just about fuel mileage and saving the planet. It can be fun, too, because there are some benefits to electric power with the torque. And there are certain motorsports that lend themselves to that. Pikes Peak is the easiest, lowest hanging cherry for that because combustion engines have to deal with the lack of air at that altitude. Electric engines do not. So you get 100% of your power at the top where everybody else is running on 50% that has a combustion engine. Rallycross is another one that's perfect for it because the races are less than 5 minutes. You need a massive amount of acceleration and torque. And so I think even today there are rallycross cars built that are electric that will be faster than the gas-powered cars. So that's for sure around the corner. But then you get manufacturers like Volkswagen that are, pledging a massive move towards electric in the future and, aiming to be the largest electric car manufacturer in the world by 2020, which is right around the corner. And so that's... it is certain sports, suddenly it makes sense. And I think it will breathe new life into certain sports, too, to have that manufacturer money behind it. But in the end, as long as they're fun to drive and they're fast and they're wickedly brutal, then, I'd love to give it a shot. Yeah. So I'm looking forward to trying an electric rallycross car soon.
Yeah, should be a ton of fun. I got to ask before we let you go. I know you came out and raced a Star Car with me, and I know you talking with you. You talked about maybe some rally razor type of stuff, and then I see Reese and James Hill, who built my car, and Verdier. They went out and did some rally racing in a razor. What's up next for you, buddy? You got one of those in the back of the mind that you're thinking about building?
Oh, yeah, no, I've already started the process. And, I mean, right now it's bragging rights. Reese and Stefan and I go way back. And we've rally raced together in cars. And one of the great things, as we've talked about on that weekend at the Mint 400 with Polaris, is that it's just very accessible racing. The cost of entry is much lower to get into the same fun factor racing that you get with, huge budgets. So we're going in for fun, and they've got a jump start on it. I'm trying to get them to not test so much and get too fast.
Good luck with that.
Like get in there. But yeah, but actually today going to do a shoot with a racing out in the desert for an Odyssey Batteries commercial. And I mean, that's just an exciting part of the business that nobody really, when you come in as a racer, you never know where it's going to take you, but it's just an exciting part of the business having side-by-sides and Polaris in particular blow up and the Odyssey battery connection there. And before you know it, you're out jumping stuff in sand dunes when, instead of road course racing, through the city. So it's very, very cool. I love that stuff. And so hopefully I will get to build a rally version to go battle it out with Stefan and Reese soon.
Yeah, nice. Well, I appreciate the time today. I know we're coming up against a commercial break, buddy, but congrats on the win. Know you got the points lead. So you kind of got the leg up on the competition the rest of the series. But congrats again, and we'll definitely chat soon.
Thank you guys so much. Good luck, Amy.
All right, thanks a lot, Tanner.
Okay, thank you.
All right, take it easy. All right, that was Tanner Foust, your GRC winner on the weekend. That was a GRC curtain call segment. I think we forgot to do that when we introed the segment. But we're going to take a short break. We come back. I don't know. Amy and I, we've got a lot to talk about the next couple of segments. So hang tight here on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. I'm Polaris rider Jim Beaver. I race trophy trucks professionally, host a Down and Dirty radio show, and also travel the country announcing motorsports events. I've seen it all, and trust me, I've done most of it, so when it comes time to relax on the weekend, nothing is better than taking time with my family in our RZR vehicles. They've got the reliability I need to just pick up and go explore the desert, dunes, or trail, and have the capability to attack even the harshest terrain. If you're looking for some of the most reliable and safest, and hands down most capable off-road machines in the world, look no further than Polaris and their award-winning lineup of RZR vehicles. Whether you want your daughter to experience off-road driving for the first time in a RZR 170 like me, take the entire family out in a RZR XP4 1000 on the weekend, or shred the desert and dunes in the all-new RZR XP 1000 Fox Edition, Polaris has you handled. Take my advice and join me and some of the best drivers in the world by driving a Polaris RZR. Check out the full Polaris RZR lineup at Polaris.com or follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Polaris RZR. Do you race or are you a weekend warrior? Have you checked on the date on your helmet recently? Don't get caught off guard by using an outdated helmet. Impact Racing, the leader in motorsport safety, has new SA 2015 helmets to fit your budget. Whether you're looking for a helmet with a full carbon fiber shell to take you to victory at the Indy 500, or just looking for some helmets for a weekend at Glamis, Impact Racing has a helmet for you. Find out more information at impactraceproducts.com or on Facebook at Impact Safety. Your life demands a tire that provides durability, comfort, and performance, and that's what General Tire delivers for you. From the all-season grip of the Grabber UHP to the comfort and on-road manners of the Grabber HTS to the durability and off-road traction of the Grabber AT2, General has a tire that will help get you where you need to go. So let us take you on your next big adventure. Tweet us at General Tire, hashtag anywhere is possible, because with General Tire, anywhere is possible.
Honey, it's the trunkload of cash at the Blue Water Resort and Casino, and they're giving away $76,000 in cash.
Oh yeah, the more we play, the more entries we can earn.
Woohoo! Plus, they're giving away over $3,000 in cash every Saturday.
Then on Saturday, June 24th, a guaranteed $43,000 in cash will be given away.
See the club for details.
Blue Water Resort and Casino. Right on the water, right on the money.
Book your midweek getaway today. Riverfront rooms starting at just $84.95 at Blue Water Resort and Casino. Our gaming floor is packed with the hottest slots, table games, poker, and bingo. Live entertainment, fine and casual dining, boat slips, movie theater, wakeboard island, and fun for all. Book your getaway stay at Blue Water Resort and Casino today. Sunday through Thursday room rates start at just $84.95 when booked online only at BlueWaterFun.com.
Blue Water Resort and Casino. Right on the water, right on the money.
Welcome back to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. Got a short little segment coming up, so I figured we'd run through a quick moto results from High Point this past weekend. I've never been to High Point. You been out to High Point before, Hood?
I sure have.
Yeah. How is that? How is it? It's out there in Pennsylvania. How is that? I love that area of the country, but I'm just curious on the track because I haven't really paid much attention to it.
The track's really nice, lots of elevation, huge jumps, but it gets super rough, extremely ruddy, really challenging, and it kind of goes to show because the people who I expected to win at a track like this did. You know, Jeremy Martin went 2-1, Dylan Fernandez coming from Australia killed it in 450s, but, Jeremy with that background of, Millville, which is also a super enduring track, really long, lots of elevation. These riders who are, have a little bit more of the outdoor experience can really manhandle a track like this. It's a tough track. So, but it's really fun. I never got to actually race on it. I've just been there watching.
Yeah, well, and we got about a minute left, but what do you think this year? Current points leader won again, Blake Baggett. What is this? He the real deal this year? I mean, you think he's got a shot at this championship?
I do. Baggett's always been a great outdoor rider, and I just think that he's kind of been having to come into his own going from 250s to 450s. I knew it was going to take a little bit of time, but, he was such a great 250 rider as well, so it was just about a matter of time. I'm really surprised with the inconsistency of Tomac. Like, come on, man, you're coming off a almost Supercross championship, and then, your main competition retired. This was supposed to be his year. I'm just really disappointed that, he hasn't been able to put it together. But, at least the door open for other people. Anderson, Baggett, and Fernandez, seeing, kind of rookies come up and have such a successful 450 year. And at Cooper Webb as well, he went 6'5". A great start of the season for Cooper, and a really good show in the 450 class. And he's a young kid. But yeah, I really do think that Blake Baggett has an opportunity here to win the 450 Outdoor Series. He's extremely consistent. He has the off-track training, and I think that he'll be able to kind of put it together. Hopefully he stays, healthy. I know he's had a lot of injuries in the past, but I just think with, Tomac's inconsistency, I think he got a first and a 16th. Like, he's losing a lot of points right there with this, with his inconsistency problem. So unless he can really turn it all around, it's a long season. That's the thing. Outdoors is long, grueling. There's rarely any breaks, and it's really a battle of the fittest. Outdoors is a lot different than Supercross, where it is about consistency with Supercross. With outdoors, it's about who has the stamina to last this long, grueling season. So it'll be interesting. And I know Tomac and Baggett are been rivals before in little bike. So let's see them put it all together. It's gonna be fun.
All righty, we're going to take a short break. We come back. Dirtfish Rally Report coming at you on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR.
Hey, I'm RJ Anderson, factory Polaris driver, and I drive Polaris because it's the most capable, race-ready off-road vehicle on the market.
When RJ Anderson wanted to set a world record for the longest UTV jump in history, not once but twice, what company did he trust? Polaris and their championship-winning RZR XP 1000. RJ is a UTV champion behind the wheel of Polaris vehicles, and he exclusively trusts the Polaris RZRs to bring him race wins and championships against some of the toughest off-road racers in the world. The same Polaris RZRs RJ has won championships in, set world records in, and conquered the Wall of Death in XP1K2 are available to you at your local Polaris dealer. Take the advice of world record holder RJ Anderson and visit Polaris on the web at Polaris.com to see the full lineup of Polaris RZR vehicles, or follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Polaris RZR. Welcome back to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. And right now, we're going to get into our Dirtfish Rally Report for this week, brought to you by our good friends at Dirtfish Rally School. Find out more information on the web at www.dirtfish.com. And don't forget, if you're looking for a discount at Dirtfish Rally School, you can use that coupon code JBDirtfish, and it's going to get you 15% off any of your classes at Dirtfish Rally School. So big rallycross action on the weekend. Obviously, we talked with one of the winners up there in Canada, Tanner Foust. The other winner, Canadian local, we mentioned him as well in that segment, but Steve Arpin doing a heck of a job up there. He took the win on day number one up there in Ottawa. It was Tanner Foust in second, Mitchell DeYoung third, Chris Atco Atkinson for Subaru Rally Team USA in fourth, and Austin Dine with a solid finish there in fifth. That was day number one. Day number two with the supercars, a little bit different. It was Tanner Foust with the victory, Scott Speed in second, Mitchell DeYoung in third. You had Steve Arpin, who was the points leader, drop all the way back to 10th with the DNF, hurting him in the points championship. So right now it's Tanner Foust out front, followed by Steve Arpin. He's what do we got, about 30 points back, and then Scott Speed in third, followed by DeYoung and Erickson. Jumping over and looking at the GRC lights results on the weekend. And I got to tell you, man, these GRC lights kids, it's some of the best racing you'll see. But looking at Canada, first time the lights have gone up there, as well as the supercars. It was Cyril Raymond with the win, Colin Braun second. Connor Martell with Dirtfish Rally School, he finished up in third. And then day number two in Canada for the lights, it was who was it here? It was Cyril Raymond again with the sweep, followed by Travis Picoy and Alex Keys. So your championship standings right now for the GRC Lights, it's Raymond, Martel, and Braun, 1, 2, and 3. And, as well as, GRC Lights action going on and GRC Supercar action going on, we got to mention Subaru Launch Control, the Subaru video series. It is out, dropping every Wednesday new episodes. So make sure and check it out on Facebook, YouTube. I share a lot of them. Obviously, SRT USA, you should be following the Subaru Rally Team social media feeds on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. That's where you're going to get those videos as soon as they drop. But that video series out, award-winning video series. If you're a rally fan or motorsports fan, you definitely should be checking it out. We are going to take a short break here on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. We come back, Amy Hood and I, we're going to be talking about the top motorsports events in the world. There's a big contest going on, and we're going to talk about it. And I don't know. Well, you got your opinions. Tweet me at JimBeaver15 or at AmyHood71. Let us know your thoughts. We'll be back after this on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor.
Hey, I'm RJ Anderson, factory Polaris driver, and I drive Polaris because it's the most capable, race-ready off-road vehicle on the market.
When R.J. Anderson wanted to set a world record for the longest UTV jump in history, not once but twice, what company did he trust? Polaris and their championship-winning Razor XP1000. RJ is a UTV champion behind the wheel of Polaris vehicles, and he exclusively trusts the Polaris Razors to bring him race wins and championships against some of the toughest off-road racers in the world. The same Polaris Razors RJ has won championships in, set world records in, and conquered the Wall of Death in XP1K2 are available to you at your local Polaris dealer. Take the advice of world record holder RJ Anderson and visit Polaris on the web at Polaris.com to see the full lineup of Polaris Razor vehicles, or follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Polaris Razor. Your life demands a tire that provides durability, comfort, and performance, and that's what General Tire delivers for you. From the all-season grip of the Grabber UHP to the comfort and on-road manners of the Grabber HTS to the durability and off-road traction of the Grabber AT2, General has a tire that will help get you where you need to go. So let us take you on your next big adventure. Tweet us at General Tire, hashtag anywhere is possible, because with General Tire, anywhere is possible.
The Subaru WRX and WRX STI, a 268-horsepower, turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine, rockets the WRX around corners and down straightaways. A race-ready 305-horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine keeps the WRX STI a rally legend. The Subaru WRX and WRX STI, it's not a sibling rivalry, it's a tag team. Get the latest from Subaru Rally Team USA at Subaru.com/rally.
Looking to have some fun on four wheels? Dirtfish Rally School has you covered. Packing as much adrenaline and adventure as you can handle into high-performance all-wheel drive and rear-wheel drive Subaru rally cars is where the fun begins at Dirtfish. Just 30 minutes outside of Seattle in Snoqualmie, you'll get a chance to train up to 3 full days with some of the country's best instructors and be put through the high-octane rush of rally on mud, dirt, and tarmac. Get started today and call 425-888-7715 or visit us online at dirtfish.com and use code 911 for a 15% discount.
Book your midweek getaway today. Riverfront rooms starting at just $84.95 at Blue Water Resort and Casino. Our gaming floor is packed with the hottest slots, table games, poker, and bingo. Live entertainment, fine and casual dining, boat slips, movie theater, wakeboard island, and fun for all. Book your getaway stay at Blue Water Resort and Casino today. Sunday through Thursday room rates start at just $84.95 when booked online only at BlueWaterFun.com.
Blue Water Resort and Casino. Right on the water. Right on the money.
Welcome back to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. Amy Hood and I getting ready to talk some of the top motorsports races in the world. Before we get to that, Amy, I gotta give a shout out to a guest we had, I don't know, about a month or two back. Her dad, good friend of mine, she kills it. But Haley Deegan, did you see? Everybody wants to talk about getting the mainstream media coverage and stuff like that. Here you got little old 15-year-old Haley Deegan. Boom, she made it into 17 magazine. right? And obviously 17 magazine's for the tween girls.
Really? I
But
did not see that.
no, she posted something, and I was actually in a Target this weekend, and I saw. I mean, I've never picked up a 17 magazine in my life, but I saw her post something. I'm like, well, I want to see this picture.
Because you do have a daughter.
Yeah, well, that's saying something right there, but hopefully she doesn't read that for quite some time. But anyways, I opened it up, and boom, right there, like they had a whole feature on Hailie Deegan. I thought, that's pretty rad. Not often does somebody in motorsports, especially a young girl like her, make it into such a mainstream magazine like that. I thought that was pretty freaking rad.
That's awesome. Like that was something I've always dreamed of, being a female in a male-dominated industry. I always wanted to kind of branch out and be in the 17s or be on the, like Sports Illustrated and just show women who don't just sit around and try to look cute in bikini, but who actually do like cool stuff. But, she must have a great agent to, get her in stuff like that. But, I mean, she comes from a legacy. Her dad, I mean, you can't compete with Brian Deegan. I mean, Kim Hood's pretty gnarly, too. But, no, it's really great. And being such a young woman, and, she has so many girls who look up to her and boys as well. But she's really paving the way to have a really great career. And, hopefully she stays healthy and, does a lot more cool things. And, just like Sarah Price breaking into the stunt woman work and doing a lot of commercials. I see that a very similar career for Hailie in the future as well. And she's super cute, really personable, great on a microphone, and yeah, it's really good for her, and it's great for women motorsports as well. Her being able to open a door like that.
Yeah, I think it's pretty awesome. Not many people get that opportunity, especially at that age. But switching gears now, I know we've been talking about it, but we got to talk the top races in the world. And I'm
not happy with it.
You're not happy with the top races in the world?
I don't like it. I don't agree with it.
Well,
absolutely not. There's nothing that's dirt bike related or monster truck related in there at all.
Well, I think
it's NASCAR stuff.
Well, in Formula One and Le Mans, and so I think the basis of this.
Yeah.
The basis of this, and that's why I wanted you on here, because you're gonna have completely different opinions than me, and that's what makes this show great. But we're gonna talk motorcycles here in a minute. We don't have a ton of time, but. So on the racing side, I think it's like ones with the biggest footprint and things like that. And I don't know, I've been on some stuff, and people have these weird events I've never heard of that are like local events. But, I mean, like I can understand. I don't want to put a best, but like Dakar. I mean, that's massive, right? It's global scale. Everybody knows Dakar. It includes everything, which makes it great. I
agree with the Dakar, absolutely.
Yeah, Le Mans, I'm not a Le Mans fan. Obviously, it was this past weekend. I didn't tune in. I know the results, but I don't know. It does have its footprint. You got the Monaco Grand Prix. The racing isn't so good, but it's in Monaco, so it's popular. Indy 500, I will absolutely say that. I was there at Indy this year. That is absolutely one of the biggest races in the world. But I don't know, Baja
Indy
1000.
Daytona 500, obviously.
But see that? I wonder. Daytona Americans love it, but do people in Europe really pay attention to it? I don't know.
I mean, out of all the NASCAR races, and the Daytona 500 is the main one, okay? But what happened to Monster Jam World Finals? I know, like, millions of viewers tune in for that race in particular. What about Monster Energy? Like the Monster Cup. I think they really lacked on having anything motocross related. Or what about an FIM World Championship, like a GP? I know must be one GP that, kind of hosts the main eyes. I don't know, what about the GP that comes over to America? I think probably would be a really big one where you have the Europeans battle out with the Americans. But I really think they lack anything from the two-wheel side of the world. I love that they had a hill climb in there. I think that's pretty unique. But you think a hill climb beats Monster, the Monster Truck World Finals? I really don't think so. I think they kind of lacked a little bit of all the other different motorsports out there. I mean, there's not a million different motorsports, but I mean, I think they should have representation from monster trucks and motocross. And I do think it should be a GP rather than AMA motocross.
Yeah, I mean, I would say Monster Energy Cup is pretty legit, but I mean, I don't know really the motocross scene in Europe.
I still don't think it's bigger than a GP.
Okay.
Yeah, the European motocross scene is on a whole new level. Okay, it's take the population, times it by 10,000. It's insane.
What we need.
And usually the ones in France. What do you need?
Well, no, I think what we need is we need a one motocross event a year that stands on its own, and we've got it the Motocross the Nations, but that sucks. Like a legit where Europe meets the U.S.
I do think it is the Nations. You're right. Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, but there's, but I don't know. There's I agree though. I'd like to see one with motorcycles, like MotoGP. Like obviously they've got to have, like you said, they've got to have their one quote Indy 500 event or whatever. What is it? Like I don't know. They've got to have one MotoGP. Formula One has a Monaco Grand Prix.
It's probably the Nations.
Yeah.
Yeah, I believe it would be the Nations because you have all the countries battling it out against each other, and it's there's a lot of eyes, there's a lot of talk which country is going to prevail and who's going to beat U.S. and who's going to beat France, of course. But no, the MX the Nations absolutely should be on that list without a doubt, and I also think. I know this is only the second year coming into this, but I think this is going to, maybe after this year actually, but I think Nitro World Games is going to end up on that list as well.
Well, yeah, but that's got I think this one excluded stuff like X Games. There's some stuff that should have been included, but I think because it's action sports and it's a big kind of cluster event, they didn't include those.
Redo the list. No.
Yeah.
Redo the list.
Maybe we ought to do our own list. I don't know. Maybe that's what we ought to do between now and next week. You and I both compile our list. That's what we'll do. We'll do that. You and I, 10 best, and it'll be Jim's 10 best, Amy's 10 best, and it can include motorcycles, it can include cars, and we'll just put them together and we'll compare notes next week. I think that's what we need to do.
It will be the 10 best motorsports events. And, not the best, but the coolest, the best, yeah.
Doesn't necessarily have to be a race. It can be a festival. Yeah, it can be a festival or something, too. Doesn't have to.
And I want to see what the fans agree with more. I think that
we'll post them up after the show. Yeah, we'll post them on Facebook after the show or Instagram or something like that. And, we'll do it. We'll make it happen.
I love this.
Yeah, it'll be fun. I like doing stuff like this. Oh, speaking of fun stuff too, Amy and I, we got a project we're working on, and I don't know, we can't really announce it yet because we haven't got our ducks in a row, but we got a pretty cool project that's going to be for fans of the show and fans of Amy's YouTube channel and some of my podcasts and stuff like that, where we're going to offer some bonus content for you guys. So I think we're working on it. We'll maybe next week we'll have something to say. I've been working on it this weekend, but we got that coming at you. And don't forget, we got Spike Feresten coming up next. We got Graham Rahal later on in the show. But don't forget, as soon as we get off air, Amy and I, we're going to have a graphic we're going to throw up on Instagram. And we're going to give away some Warped Tour tickets. So, I don't know how we'll do it. Amy and I will talk when we get off air and come up with a plan. But we're going to give away some Warped Tour tickets today. So I'm sure you'll have to comment on Amy or my post to get them. So be looking for those posts on Instagram. And I don't know. I think it's time to take a short commercial break here. And when we come back, we got Spike Feresten on the line here on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. I'm Polaris rider Jim Beaver. I race trophy trucks professionally, host a Down and Dirty radio show, and also travel the country announcing motorsports events. I've seen it all, and trust me, I've done most of it. So when it comes time to relax on the weekend, nothing is better than taking time with my family in our Razor vehicles. They've got the reliability I need to just pick up and go explore the desert, dunes, or trail, and have the capability to attack even the harshest terrain. If you're looking for some of the most reliable and safest, and hands down most capable off-road machines in the world, look no further than Polaris and their award-winning lineup of Razor vehicles. Whether you want your daughter to experience off-road driving for the first time in a Razor 170 like me, take the entire family out in a Razor XP4 1000 on the weekend, or shred the desert and dunes in the all-new Razor XP 1000 Fox Edition, Polaris has you handled. Take my advice and join me and some of the best drivers in the world by driving a Polaris Razor. Check out the full Polaris Razor lineup at Polaris.com or follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Polaris Razor.
Hey everybody, this is Spike Feresten from Spike's Car Radio. We're out here in the porch of at the Malibu Kitchen at the Malibu Country Mart every weekend doing podcasts. My first guest is Jerry Seinfeld. He's right here. We're going to have Jeremy Piven. We're going to have Chris Hardwick. See you soon on Spike's Car Radio.
I think he's overprojecting for a podcast.
And I love to overproject for podcasts. Join me every week at podcast1.com and Apple Podcasts.
The Subaru WRX and WRX STI. A 268 horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine rockets the WRX around corners and down straightaways. A race-ready 305 horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine keeps the WRX STI a rally legend. The Subaru WRX and WRX STI. It's not a sibling rivalry. It's a tag team. Get the latest from Subaru Rally Team USA at Subaru.com/rally.
Welcome back to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. Right now we're going to cut to a clip from Project Action on Podcast One with celebrity Hollywood writer and car guy Spike Feresten. You can listen to the full uncut interview that's 50 minutes long this Thursday on Project Action on Podcast One with yours truly. Here's Spike. Here's a question for you, too. I know, you're a car guy, and I recently had this conversation. I bring it up to you. A good friend of mine, we've done a lot of work together, Katie Osborne. I don't know if you know her or not, but she's really deep into...
I do know Katie.
Do you know Katie?
Yeah, she was in my show. She was on Car Matchmaker.
Okay, yeah, she's one of my closest friends in the industry. We hosted radio together, and I just saw her at the Indy 500, and she calls into my national show quite a bit. Tanner's a good friend of mine.
She's fantastic.
Yeah, so she's amazing. Mm-hmm. But we had this conversation because her and I kind of broke into the racing industry about the same time. I mean, I've raced cars my whole life, but actually kind of like being a media personality in the racing industry. But there's like, it seems to me like there's car people and there's racing people, and there's a little bit of a crossover, but I've found it really interesting. The industries are so completely different, even though they're so completely the same. And it's I don't know if you've come across that because you're a car guy, but how far into the racing?
Here's how I think of it. It's like this: there are dogs, and then there are coyotes. When you look into the eye of a dog, you kind of understand it, and you can pet it, and you can feed it, and you feel safe. That's the car guy. The racer is the coyote. You look into their eyes, and they're crazy, and they might bite you, and they attack tracks. Every race car driver I know is nuts. Maybe with the possible exception of Scott Dixon. He seems like the most down to earth, and maybe Graham Rahal. Yeah. But even those two guys, when you get them on the track, they are animals. They can't go slow. They don't even understand like first gear. They're flying, and they attack tracks. Do you know what I mean? And I think that's, for me, the difference I've observed is, the regular old car guy is kind of chill. The race car driver they're animals. They're a little nuts.
You ever decided, you ever thought about jumping on the wheel in a race? Or are you pretty happy with just...
No. I would have done it when I was younger. I go out to the track, and I like to compete against myself and see if I can, improve lap times. But, at this point, I have these fun little moments. Like, Porsche invited me out to Road Atlanta to do a little racing in the new GT3 RS with Hurley Haywood. And by racing, all I mean is like, Hurley would lead us around the track with three cars, and we would stay on his bumper or try to. And I'm driving at a level above how I can race, but I'm following this guy, so I'm doing better. That to me is like a huge thrill. And then I got in the car with Hurley, and I said, just take me around the track at speed. I want to see what this car can do. And that's enough for me, right? I don't want to die. Yeah. I don't want to break anything.
Yeah, you took a 2-seat ride with Mario Andretti too, right? In an IndyCar?
Oh yeah, that was amazing. He said, "I want you to go last so the tires are hot," and it was like in a sci-fi movie when you move into the next dimension, when you go through the wormhole, where everything's bright lights and static and everything blurs. It was that. That's the fastest I've gone. Easily the fastest I've gone, and it felt like we lapped that track in 2 seconds, like this. Boom. Explosion. So much fun.
And that was at the Long
I don't
Beach,
want to be
right?
in charge of the vehicle doing that.
Yeah, that was at Long Beach, right?
That was at Long Beach, which looks like you're driving on a sidewalk surrounded by cement. That's how wide it feels when you're in that car.
Yeah, I could only imagine. I was at the Indy 500, and he was doing the 2-seat rides at Indianapolis Motor Speedway, and I could only imagine the speed. Long Beach is fast, but you get around Indianapolis Motor Speedway, and I can only imagine taking a 2-seat ride with him around there.
But would you want to? I mean, especially after this last one with the crashes, something goes wrong, you're right into that wall.
Yeah, well, speaking of Dixon, did you the crash at the Indy 500? I mean, holy, I mean, it was something out of an action
movie. But that's
movie,
not
right?
the only thing. He was held up the night before at a Taco Bell.
Yeah,
at gunpoint, right?
It was an interesting
what kind of weekend is that?
Yeah, that was one of those you wish he didn't show up that week to work.
Oh my God! And he's such a talented driver, and he's such a good guy. But geez. How do you not look at that and go, God is trying to tell me something?
Yeah, but
don't stop eating Taco Bell before a race. That's what he's trying to tell me.
But, what's funny is you mentioned, race car drivers, they never slow down. And I start thinking about it, and it being at Indianapolis Motor Speedway a couple weeks ago, and Mario Andretti's driving around in his golf cart, right? It wasn't slow. Mario's, he's getting sideways in the golf cart, driving around the garage area. I mean, it's nonstop. Like, if there's a throttle there, it's all the way to the floor. We can't.
You know what he did to me? I think he was trying to freak me out and make me scared, and I wasn't going to get there. But, I get on the fire suit and the helmet and the whole deal, and I brought my kids with me, and I'm a big cool dad, and like, hey, look at Dad. And then he said, but he goes, before we walk over there, I want to show you something. And he takes out his iPhone, and it's a video on YouTube of him racing in an IndyCar, and I forget where, but I remember him saying, I'm 63 years old at this point. And he was going around in qualifying, and he hit a piece of wood on the track. Do you remember this? And the front end came up just high enough so that the air could suddenly start flying under the car, and the car goes into the air and does a flip. Into the air at speed on an oval, does a flip, and then he lands on the tires. He lands on the tires. A one big flip and a somersault, lands on the tires, and doesn't hit the wall. And I said to him, I go, first of all, incredible this happens to you at age 63, but is there any chance that's going to happen today? And he goes, we'll see. And then he walks out of the trailer. And then I was a little shaken. Like,
but
what
do I get myself into?
You have to look that clip. If you guys are listening right now, look this clip up and just imagine a 63-year-old man doing this. If he lands on his head, I don't know. I'm not sure I would have met Mario Andretti.
Yeah, and there was, I think, at Indianapolis Motor Speedway a couple of years ago. He was retired, but he was testing one of the Andretti Indy cars. And he got in a bad accident, and this was only a couple of years ago, and then it was like, oh, I'm done racing, I'm done even thinking about it, and then, a year later he's doing two-seat rides, and I'm going, yeah, well, that you just can't stay retired, Mario. He's got to be behind the wheel.
Wow. Yeah, this was Indy 2003. I just looked it up. It's Indianapolis 2003. Oh, he flipped. Oh, sorry. I'm counting the flips now. I'm watching the clip. He goes around. I saw at least two flips. I'm wrong on the number of flips.
That's nuts.
Here it comes. He's coming around. He hits the wood. 1, 2. Okay, that's 6 flips. It looks like 6. Incredible. Incredible. It's 5 or 6 flips, and he walks away.
Yeah, I see.
Unreal.
I mean, I've walked away from off-road crashes, because that's what I do. But it's, we're going at 70, 80 miles an hour, and we're rolling 5 or 6 times across the desert. But, it's another level when you're going 200 miles an hour flipping. Not that any of them are good, but, wrecking at that speed like, Mario did or Scott recently or any of the crap at Texas, that's just another level, man. It's, I don't know. No, not for me. Oh, so yeah.
Wait, yeah, there you go. Oh my gosh, they just did it in slow motion. It's 5 or 6 full-on flips. Look at that. Well, anyway, we're still here, and he's still there too, and he's doing well.
And he's smiling every time you see him. He's got a big smile.
And he's smiling. That's right. No, he's the legend.
Which is funny. Anybody can walk by Mario Andretti. And it can be, Fernando Alonso, he was at Indy. He was a big deal. You could have Graham Rahal, you name it, they can walk by. And if Mario Andretti's standing there, nobody moves. They just walk by. And it's
right.
I mean, he is still that guy. Mm-hmm. He is the biggest name in racing. And it's amazing. You can have the biggest talented, biggest name driver, and Mario Andretti can be there, and nobody will go to that other driver. They're all going to Mario.
Right, exactly. Roger Penske, too. He was someone I met when I was there last year. Legends.
Yeah. for sure. So tell us about Spike's Car Radio. I'm digging the name. Very simple, to the point. Spike's Car Radio, right?
Oh, thank you. There were some that were worried that people would think it was a radio show and not a podcast, and I assured them that when they're downloading it, they would understand it's a podcast. But it's I've been doing this drive out to Malibu with my friends for about 20 years in a variety of different cars, where we, just buzz canyons on the weekend and then stop down at Bill's to have a little coffee and breakfast and then get on with our day, driving kids or taking wives or doing whatever we have to do. So, for us, it's the most enjoyable part of our week. We've met a lot of really cool car people down there. It's become kind of a little hub there for a place to go after the car shows, after Trancas or any of the Malibu car shows. And, people park and you meet people and you talk about cars. And, after I started doing Car Matchmaker, I thought it was suggested that I do a podcast. I could never quite figure out what the podcast would be until I think it was Seinfeld said, it's not a podcast, it's a porchcast. You have to record it on the porch and I'll come do it whenever I'm there. And it's all the people that we meet who you never expect would be car guys,
Yeah.
Because we're there and we're driving cool cars and we throw it up on Instagram, it's become this little thing and people want to drive with us. And, I met Michael Strahan because of it. And he's like, I collect cars. When I'm out there, can I drive with you guys? I'm like, yeah, sure. Whatever, man. So what I'm trying to do is take a little bit of not just the car thing, but the comedy thing that kind of goes along with it.
Yeah.
We don't just talk about cars, we talk about comedy. And, we're leading off with the kind of comedian actor guys that I know who are, at the top of their game, are funny, but also no cars. So, it's going to be, Jerry's did the first one. Chris Hardwick, who hosts at midnight and is a car guy at heart, is going to be there for the second one that'll be out next week. Jeremy.
And that was a clip of Spike's Car Radio. Well, that's his podcast, but this is a clip from Project Action, my interview with Spike Feresten. That drops this coming Thursday on Podcast One, iTunes, my website, Podcast One app. Definitely catch it. It's an amazing interview. We spent like an hour together talking Hollywood, cars, movies, just had a good time, comedy, mutual friends. It's a lot of fun. So catch that this Thursday. We'll be back after this on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. I'm Polaris rider Jim Beaver. I race trophy trucks professionally, host a Down and Dirty radio show, and also travel the country announcing motorsports events. I've seen it all, and trust me, I've done most of it, so when it comes time to relax on the weekend, nothing is better than taking time with my family in our Razor vehicles. They've got the reliability I need to just pick up and go explore the desert, dunes, or trail, and have the capability to attack even the harshest terrain. If you're looking for some of the most reliable and safest, and hands down most capable off-road machines in the world, look no further than Polaris and their award-winning lineup of Razor vehicles. Whether you want your daughter to experience off-road driving for the first time in a Razor 170 like me, take the entire family out in a Razor XP4 1000 on the weekend, or shred the desert and dunes in the all-new Razor XP 1000 Fox Edition, Polaris has you handled. Take my advice and join me and some of the best drivers in the world by driving a Polaris Razor. Check out the full Polaris Razor lineup at Polaris.com or follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Polaris Razor.
Life is all about sound, the sound of sports, the sound at the racetrack, and the sound of your vehicle. Don't drive around listening to this. Drive around listening to the sound of performance. Gibson Performance. Gibson Performance Exhaust is the company who can turn this into this. Remember that life is all about sound, and Gibson Exhaust is the sound of performance. Check out your next catback exhaust system, headers, muffler, or UTV exhaust at GibsonPerformance.com and get more power and more sound.
Do you race, or are you a weekend warrior? Have you checked on the date on your helmet recently? Don't get caught off guard by using an outdated helmet. Impact Racing, the leader in motorsport safety, has new SA 2015 helmets to fit your budget. Whether you're looking for a helmet with a full carbon fiber shell to take you to victory at the Indy 500, or just looking for some helmets for a weekend at Glamis, Impact Racing has a helmet for you. Find out more information at ImpactRaceProducts.com or on Facebook at Impact Safety. Since 1970, KC Highlights has been designing and manufacturing performance lighting for off-road and motorsports, beginning with the legendary Daylighter up until today's revolutionary Flex, Pod, and Pro 6 lighting systems. KC Highlights offers a full line of halogen, HID, and LED lighting solutions for your off-road vehicle. Looking for the best quality lighting? Looking for the brand champions choose? You're looking for KC Highlights. Find out more information at kchighlights.com or follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at KC Highlights.
The Subaru WRX and WRX STI, a 268 horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine, rockets the WRX around corners and down straightaways. A race-ready 305 horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine keeps the WRX STI a rally legend. The Subaru WRX and WRX STI, it's not a sibling rivalry, it's a tag team. Get the latest from Subaru Rally Team USA at Subaru.com/rally.
Welcome back to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. I'd like to welcome my next guest. Guy, you're on pretty much a roll, but Graham Rahal, welcome to the show. How's everything going, buddy?
Everything's good, yeah, thank you. It's been a good run here, and can't complain too much. Life's been good.
Yeah, I know it's kind of – I caught up with you at the Indy 500 in the garage and did a short interview for the show, and man, it was kind of the Indy 500. I would even say the Grand Prix before that, but you guys kind of had a shift, and it was like a turning point with the whole team. And you guys, I mean, obviously we'll talk about Detroit in a minute, but it kind of seemed like there was like a shift with the team at Indy. And since then, you guys have been, I would say, the hottest team in IndyCar.
Yeah, we've been strong. Certainly there's a lot of good guys, out there right now, but I feel like our team's performed at a very high level. Proud of them for the work that they've put in. Hopefully that we can keep it going. This weekend coming up, Road America is going to be a big one. But yeah, I mean, we've been strong the last month or last few weeks. Getting actually, I felt at Indy we had a great chance to win there. Just had a flat tire. But even as you look back to Long Beach, same thing. Run in the top 5, get a flat tire. So goods and bads with it all. But we're pretty, I would say the team's performing strongly, and we're close in the championship chase here, so hopefully we can keep it going.
Yeah, well, and I know talking with you at Indy, one of the big things that we talked about, and, it kind of played itself out over a course of a couple of races, but, you're by and large, you're a one-car team. I know there's been a lot of talk of moving permanently to a two-car team, but you picked up Oriol Servia as a teammate there, and you said it gave, a lot of the stuff you were telling to the team, it gave it basis because he was feeling the same thing. I mean, how was that having Oriol there for that period of time? I mean, do you feel like it really helped you guys in this move that you guys have made over the past few races?
It helps. I think it helped at Indy quite a bit, actually. The performance and the competitiveness of our car and our team in the race really was a result, of Oriol and what Oriol and Tom German, his engineer, found, that transferred and translated directly to our car. But yeah, I mean, at Detroit, I think he struggled a little bit, but it's that way. When you jump back in these cars, the competitiveness of the series is elevated so much that it's just going to be challenging. And so, with Oriol, I think he found that. But he's a great guy, and hopefully we'll be able to raise some more money and keep him racing.
Yeah. Well, and talking about Detroit, man, we got to talk about this because, I mean, you guys coming off Indy, I mean, we'll talk about this grueling stretch that you guys are in for IndyCar teams here in a second, but you guys going to Detroit, I mean, it's hard enough to win one race in IndyCar, and, I know you were really excited going into the weekend, thought you guys had a really strong chance, but, I mean, to take 2 at Detroit, and that's not an easy place to win at, especially if you drop back in the pack or anything like that, but, I mean, you guys came out and you were on fire. I mean, to do the double, I mean, that was a statement right there. I mean, how did that weekend play out? I mean, I know you going in, you said, we've got a good shot at this, but, man, that's pretty tough to go back-to-back like that.
Oh, it is, yeah, definitely. And so it was a surprise to all of us that we performed to that high of a level. Not that we didn't think that we could. It's just so competitive nowadays that you don't want, again, I use this word all the time, but you don't want to be overconfident. You don't believe. There's a couple words. You don't want to believe that you're better than you are, but you do need to be confident in your abilities and your team, and all those sorts of things. And I felt, that we were very strong going into race day there. But at the same time, you just never know the way that it's going to work out. And, when we rolled off the truck, the car was just extremely competitive. So I was excited by it. I felt, that we were in a good place if we could qualify up front, that we could continue to run up front and kind of take off with the thing. And that's the way it played out for us. So, just fortunate it all worked out. But it was a great weekend and just a really strong morale boost, for our team, for our guys who have worked so hard. It was great to see them all with big smiles on their faces and excited to go off to the next one.
Yeah, well, and speaking of that, I mean, we got to talk about Texas here. You guys avoided the chaos, I guess, would be the easiest way to put it. But how stressful is a race like that? I mean, you're a guy, and I've always respected you because you're really honest, and it's not, you just pretty much you kind of say what's on your mind. But Texas, I mean, how stressful is that for you as a driver? I mean, especially with all this happening around you, and cars getting collected left and right, and that pack racing like they talk about at Texas. I mean, how is that, man?
Yeah, it's nuts. I mean, it's nerve-wracking stuff, for sure. But part of it, in that case, watching all the racing and everything, all the action that was going on, my focus really was stay out of trouble, get to the end of this thing, keep clear of everybody, and this would be I knew right away it was going to be an opportunity for a great points evening. So, that was my entire goal. And again, luckily we were able to stay clear. There was a lot of situations that, in fact, I think IndyCar just put 13 minutes solid of my onboard on YouTube, and so you can see from that plenty of activity and lots of big crashes happen right in front of me. So in many ways, it's fortunate that we stayed out of all of it, and we're able to bring it home.
How is that stretch? I mean, you're starting at, I guess, the Grand Prix there in Indy, and then you immediately, you go into, qualifying for Indy 500, the Indy 500. You've got a double in Detroit. You got Texas. I mean, between, you as a driver, I know it's grueling, and you're on the road, and it sucks to sleep in motorhomes and motels and things like that. But, the team, too, I mean, these guys are transporting stuff across country. I mean, for you guys right now to be on a break, how is that to have a weekend off?
Oh, it's huge. It's huge for us. Yeah, it's far worse for the team. No doubt about that. Far worse for those guys because, they're on the road constantly. And then when they do get home, they just go right back to work. And so I would, for them, far more grueling and tiring and demanding. So, fortunately, again, that's why the morale boost was such a big thing for us because, put a big smile on their face, got them all excited for what was to come. So it was great. But yeah, it's a brutal part of the season. We went Indy 500, straight on to all of this, Detroit and then Texas, now Road America, with only one weekend off there really since Easter. So our guys are tired. Everybody's beat up, and it'll be good to get 4th of July off for them and let them reset even a little further.
Yeah. Well, here's a question, and this is a racer talking to a racer question, and I've always wondered, because, I race and, and my wife's at home, right? Or she's at the track with me, supporting me and things like that, and something happens and, I don't have to worry about her. I can kind of tune that out. But you as you're racing, and then you've got Courtney and her racing and things like that big explosion that she had, recently, how does that play on your mindset? You know what I mean? And her when you clip a wall or something like that. I mean, how is that with you guys? I mean, I know you guys have a really strong relationship, but does that ever play with you in the back of your mind when you're behind the wheel?
Oh, for sure. Yeah. I mean, you don't like to see that stuff no matter who it is, and then being your wife. Yeah. I mean, it plays with your mind. It's a difficult thing to ignore and pretend like it doesn't happen and, all those sorts of things. It's not fun. It's not fun to see. And I'm very fortunate, very lucky and happy that she's okay. And very proud of her for everything that she's doing. But certainly, it's difficult to see that stuff. And, so hopefully that's the last that we have to see of it and the last that we have to experience of it. I don't anticipate that being the case. It is, at the end of the day, it is racing and drag racing, and things can happen. And same for IndyCar, but you have to you got to try to put it behind you, and hope for the best, and hope it doesn't happen to you, and let's hope in her case, that we don't have to see that again.
Yeah. So, looking down the line at, the IndyCar series and that, obviously you're moving to Road Atlanta, or not Road Atlanta, Road America, but, moving down the road, I mean, we got Road America, then we've got Iowa coming up and stuff like that. I mean, what do you guys need to do down the stretch? I mean, you guys have narrowed a massive points gap now. You're right in there. You're in the thick of things. I mean, what cards need to fall in place the next few rounds?
Well, I mean, really, it's, again, it sounds so boring, but really stay out of trouble, perform at the highest level that we can. Got to have some luck on your side. That's a given in racing. So, hopefully we have that. But you just got to be well-rounded. Good pit stops, no mistakes by the driver. It just has to be extremely committed and extremely focused, on what that end goal is. So hopefully we'll do it. I mean, I feel very good about our team and and where we're at. But it is racing and things can happen. In 2015, we were in the championship chase, and we didn't finish it off strong. So I know that everybody within the organization knows that. We all lived it together. It's the same core group of people. We know what we went through, and we always promise that we'd come back stronger, and here's our opportunity.
Yeah. Well, and then looking even further down the line, I mean, how is it, for you guys? Obviously, this new, IndyCar, the next IndyCar, they've debuted that. Thing's beautiful, amazing looking. But, when we talked at Indy, you guys have been really successful with sponsors and things like that. I mean, what's the reception you're getting on the series as a whole? I feel like they're making some really good moves, I mean, socially, on social media and with TV and with their promotion. I mean, I feel like the series is really strong. I mean, you guys going out and hunting sponsors, I mean, do you feel like, that pitch, for an IndyCar team is getting maybe a little bit easier with what IndyCar is doing and some of the groundwork they're laying for the future?
100%. And I'm proud, of Guy and and his team and everything they're doing. But without a doubt, our job is getting slightly easier. Is it easy? No. Is it easy for anybody in racing anymore? No. That's just the facts. And so, you have to overcome that a little bit. But yeah, I feel very fortunate for where we're at. We have a big next couple of years coming up for IndyCar. With our TV package is coming up for grabs here shortly. When that happens, that will be a big swayer in what happens to our sport going forward. And hopefully, I was with Mark Miles today, the CEO of Holman and Company, the big boss, and we were talking about it. And, hopefully they can make something special happen there. Because that could really put our sport back in the spotlight in a big way. So fingers crossed, that they'll get that done, and we'll be looking good going forward.
Well, before we let you go, I got just did recently working on a project with him. He's a mutual friend, but I know Spike Feresten. Obviously, he's got some ties with Letterman and the whole, the whole Rahal group there. But he had a question. He knew he and you were going to be on the same show, so he's like, "You got to ask Graham this question." I have no idea what the basis is for it, but I'm going to shoot because this is a question from Spike. But he goes, "Why are you driving around in a green G-Wagon?" He's like, "What is wrong with you?" He's like, "You got to ask Graham that." And I'm like, "I will shoot, Spike. I'll do it, man." But I don't know the background on it, but that's per Spike, man.
Well, okay. So I don't anymore, but I had a G4x4, which is the big lifted up G-Wagon. And it was that electric beam, whatever color. And Spike knows me. And I'm always, Mr. Colors when it comes to cars, okay? Particularly green. Green's always been kind of my thing, but that was a bit too much. So I actually sold that car. So I'll have to let Spike know that so that he doesn't have to pick on me anymore. But, I've always, I don't know, green has always kind of been my thing, and so I've stuck with it. But that car, I actually had it in Indianapolis too, and not that IndyCar racing is a huge deal in a lot of parts of the States, but it is here. And everybody knew who it was. And I was embarrassed, honestly. Like, it was just so out there. I was like, I have got to get rid of this thing. Yeah, but, my family's a Mercedes dealer. And, I've always had fun with all whatever the new thing that comes out is. And so I had one. And it was just a bit too much. It was a bit too out there for me.
Yeah. Well, you're a car guy. There's always the next one, right? That one goes down the road. You move into something
Exactly.
else. We all make mistakes occasionally. Exactly. So, it happens, right? All right.
Sure does.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate the time, Graham, man. Thanks for the interview, buddy. Good luck the rest of the season. I'm sure we'll catch up down the road, either out at an event or back on air, buddy.
Sounds good. Thank you.
All right. Thanks a lot, Graham. All right. And we'll be back after this on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. I'm Polaris rider Jim Beaver. I race trophy trucks professionally, host a Down and Dirty radio show, and also travel the country announcing motorsports events. I've seen it all, and trust me, I've done most of it, so when it comes time to relax on the weekend, nothing is better than taking time with my family in our Razor vehicles. They've got the reliability I need to just pick up and go explore the desert, dunes, or trail, and have the capability to attack even the harshest terrain. If you're looking for some of the most reliable and safest, and hands down most capable off-road machines in the world, look no further than Polaris and their award-winning lineup of Razor vehicles. Whether you want your daughter to experience off-road driving for the first time in a Razor 170 like me, take the entire family out in a Razor XP4 1000 on the weekend, or shred the desert and dunes in the all-new Razor XP 1000 Fox Edition, Polaris has you handled. Take my advice and join me and some of the best drivers in the world by driving a Polaris Razor. Check out the full Polaris Razor lineup at Polaris.com or follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Polaris Razor.
The Subaru WRX and WRX STI, a 268 horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine, rockets the WRX around corners and down straightaways. A race-ready 305 horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine keeps the WRX STI a rally legend. The Subaru WRX and WRX STI, it's not a sibling rivalry. It's a tag team. Get the latest from Subaru Rally Team USA at Subaru.com/rally.
Looking to have some fun on four wheels? Dirtfish Rally School has you covered. Packing as much adrenaline and adventure as you can handle into high-performance all-wheel drive and rear-wheel drive Subaru rally cars is where the fun begins at Dirtfish. Just 30 minutes outside of Seattle in Snoqualmie, you'll get a chance to train up to 3 full days with some of the country's best instructors and be put through the high-octane rush of rally on mud, dirt, and tarmac. Get started today and call 425-888-7715 or visit us online at dirtfish.com and use code 911 for a 15% discount.
Life is all about sound, the sound of sports, the sound at the racetrack, and the sound of your vehicle. Don't drive around listening to this. Drive around listening to the sound of performance. Gibson Performance. Gibson Performance Exhaust is the company who can turn this into this. Remember that life is all about sound, and Gibson Exhaust is the sound of performance. Check out your next catback exhaust system, headers, muffler, or UTV exhaust at GibsonPerformance.com and get more power and more sound.
Your life demands a tire that provides durability, comfort, and performance, and that's what General Tire delivers for you. From the all-season grip of the Grabber UHP to the comfort and on-road manners of the Grabber HTS to the durability and off-road traction of the Grabber AT2, General has a tire that will help get you where you need to go. So let us take you on your next big adventure. Tweet us at General Tire, hashtag anywhere is possible, because with General Tire, anywhere is possible. Welcome back to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. Jim Beaver here, wrapping things up. Been an awesome show. Big shout out to Graham Rahal, Spike Feresten, my partner in crime, Amy Hood, Jenny Lim, Tanner Foust, and don't forget, we're giving away some tickets on social media to Van's Warp Tour, courtesy of Monster Energy. Thanks to Jenny Lim for doing that. So make sure and skip over to my social media feed and Amy Hood's and get in on those Van's Warp Tour tickets ASAP. And it's going to be a good time out there at Vans Warped Tour. Make sure and check all their dates. 40 dates in the next 2 months, so they're going to have you locked in. But upcoming events, man, we got Formula Drift, Global Rallycross, Motocross, Lucas Oil this weekend. We got some Torque at Crandon. We got Pikes Peak coming up. Nitro World Games this weekend on tap. It's a lot of action coming at you this weekend. Big shout out to Polaris RZR, General Tire, Subaru, KC Highlights, Gibson Exhaust, Dirtfish, Impact, OTSFF for all your transportation needs. Optimus Starters, Terracross, the Blue Water Resort and Casino. Follow me at Jim Beaver 15. Amy Hood is at Amy Hood 71. Don't forget that coupon code is JB Dirtfish for 15% off all purchases for classes at Dirtfish Rally School. And don't forget, Project Action, rate, review, and subscribe over there on iTunes, as well as the Down and Dirty Radio Show. Thanks to all of you guys for tuning in each and every week here and keeping us the #1 action motorsports radio show in the world. And you can catch us on 200 networks on Wednesdays through the Sports Byline Network, or anytime on Podcast One or iTunes, or at downanddirtyshow.com. We will be back next week, bringing you some of the best in motorsports talk here at the Down and Dirty Radio Show. Be safe. As always, game on.